Greetings everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I'm Simmer Chase. Today's episode number 24 of our speed builds. So this one's another historic one. It's the Sears Kit house number C118. So with this one, it's a cute Victorian craftsman style. It's got the veranda porch. It's got a upstairs terrace. It's got bump outs. It's got, if you look at the gallery or if you see in the video, it's actually got a really fun semicircle bump out. It's got the largest kitchen I've ever built in The Sims. So it's really exciting. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I gave it some bright, pretty colors. It's got nice, mature landscaping. You're going to find a pool in the back. I'll scoot around. So you can see here, there's a pool in the back. There's plenty of space for gardening and a whole mess of other things. So thanks again, guys, so much for tuning in. As always, I'm Simmer Chase. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe in the links below. And stay proud. Go out and do something magical. And let's go ahead and dive in now. So C118. Yes, I'm so stoked that you guys are watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. This one was a fun one. It really kind of inspired me to think even bigger. So I actually saved up something very special and I'm very excited to kind of pivot on beyond the Sears series for a moment and the historic recreations, because honestly, they take quite a bit of time. When you have to go and minimize, maximize, look at the rendering, kind of tweak, that kind of stuff as you go on, it gets a little tricky, especially for making videos, because, you know, it's not so much my creativity as what the rendering that I'm going off of looks like. And so it's a little tricky because there's always these angles and different things, and you got to work around the Sim stuff. So I want to do some seasonal stuff. So for episode 25, we're going to do a covered bridge. And I actually created a river, a real river that you actually have going through the lot. So there's like a river, and then I created a covered bridge. And then on top of that, there's a house, a craftsman Victorian, very similar to this. Not quite as detailed, but pretty close. And I can't wait for you guys to see it, so stay tuned. I'm looking forward to you guys seeing it. I think you're really gonna enjoy it. And I think it's gonna be a lot of use and value for a lot of people in the game. So I'm really excited to release that very soon. I would say maybe by like Tuesday or Wednesday, I should have it out, or sooner even, because I already have half of it done. I spent a lot of I was up to like almost 2 o'clock this morning, just building and working on it, because I kept thinking of something and like, oh, I know I could do that, do that. And so I did quite a few like debug items in it and just some other things that are gonna really give it some strong detail, I think, that you guys will appreciate. And so with this house, I just really love doing it, but it's like, I'm really glad that I could get it on the gallery, because it's one of those more like tasking build sort of builds that I wouldn't expect other people to have to go through and deal with to build. So I thought, you know, this would be a fun one to give to the gallery and really give people a little bit more variety from the modern, ultra sleek houses that are beautiful and they're great, but on the other hand, like sometimes you just need a quick go-to plug and play house. And so that's what I would say this one is. It's got a giant kitchen. It's got a big, because it is Victorian, so it's got a really big bump out, like floor to ceiling bump out that's got full windows, that's in the kitchen. It's got the biggest kitchen I've ever built. So what I did is kind of like, as I've done with the others, I've just approached it as though I'm a developer and have unlimited money and resources. So I tore out all the walls and made an open floor concept for most of the house on the first floor. And I think you guys are really gonna like the ability to be able to kind of keep an eye on everybody. Because like in real life, that's kind of the struggle for a lot of folks that have, you know, a lot of walls, that kind of thing. So right now I'm just kind of going through on the design of the house and just kind of like matching it to my rendering as best as possible. And you might see like some objects, you're like, wait, where'd that come from? Or like, what is that all of a sudden? Because basically, if it didn't end up making it in the final design. I kind of cut out me putting it in because some of them is like build by object, and you have to like play with the mouse a little bit, hold down the Alt key to get it positioned just properly, and then I end up just like 86ing it anyways for something better. So you're gonna see the things that I really kind of go forward with come in here. So like the kitchen, I'm now kind of getting together. It's got a ginormous island. I mean, you'd have to like get on your phone and call or like text message, Snapchat or TikTok the person on the other side of the island because it's so large. And then the bar and everything. I just wanted to give it like that really neat feel so that like when you're at the bar, you can look right out that window and see that gorgeous view and really maximize a lot, and then the characteristics around it. And then I'm just like a fool for a lot of the Star Wars content stuff that came out. Like, oh my gosh, like it's freaking crazy. Like there's so many like old-timey feeling pieces and pieces that feel like they came from like the early 19th century that just make me so happy. And it just make me thrilled to kind of use them because they do have that old world vibe. So I feel like they work really well as like signature pieces for a room to kind of really separate it out from kind of the rest of the content we have and to kind of like make it feel a little original and different and unique. So I'm like a firm believer in the Star Wars pack, even though a lot of people are like, Star Wars pack, nah. Like to me, I feel like between the build by debug option stuff, like where there's all these landscaping rocks, I'm probably gonna make a what are those called? The grotto. Yeah, the grotto. Go ahead and make the grotto at some point and do like a really cool pool and like a huge backyard area that's probably bigger than the house that I built. But because I've been thinking about that too since that came out, I was like, oh my gosh, you can make like all kinds of neat stuff with all these rocks and different pieces that we just not had yet. So I wanted to really get this house kind of like done because I was just like, oh, this would be really fun and easy to kind of simplify a little bit, but yet keep the original character and quality because of the objects that they really came out with in the last couple of years that have really added a lot of value to the game. So right now I'm just kind of getting the last of the backyard together, kind of working on kind of just getting our landscaping and stuff. And I'm really trying hard like to make sure that I don't really block the front of the landscaping. So if you guys want to like do whatever you want with this house, but like if it were me and like I wasn't putting this on the gallery for everybody to kind of look at, I'd probably put a couple more trees out front. But I just didn't want to block the view of the house and that kind of stuff because then you can't see it in the gallery and you're like, what I can't see, I don't know, and I'm just like scroll. So I've noticed that's happened. So I've definitely like not put as many like big trees and stuff in the front as I used to do. But I would definitely like do that if I wasn't putting it on the gallery. So now my like last bit was just to make it feel like a garden maybe lived here too, or like somebody that really took care of the house and took care of everything, and it's been existing for as long as it's been around. So I just wanted to kind of really give it that really homey, strong character vibe because the Sears houses are considered like what they called honor built. So it just basically meant that it was like contractors and people that were like really reliable and like wholesome and honest and like had integrity, and quality and design. And back in the day, there were so many house fires and crazy happening with houses and just things not working out very well and failing that it was kind of like a blessing for really the market to kind of have a mass market product that was really strong and durable. So I really wanted to make sure that that kind of came through in this as well, and that it's established and just kind of still exists. So now I'm just coming through getting the last of this like side piece, and I really like that like the side piece there, but I really like that little clump of stuff that came from Jungle Adventure. Again, it's objects that you never really think you're going to use until you're like, oh, I need some like filler here, or I need something to kind of give it some extra character or quality. And that's really where the debug items I think really come in, and that definitely I feel like helps. And then I mean, it would have taken 4 times as long to place all that stuff, you know, because it's got like a clump of 4 or 5 things. So it's like just a lot better to be able to have something that's kind of pre-made like that a little bit. And your arrangement's already done. And I love the porch and the design of it. And so I was like, oh, this is the area to do a lot of clutter and a lot of fun things with. So got that in. And then it was funny because I built the house, and then like you're gonna see in a minute, like halfway through I was like, oh, I forgot my staircase. I've never forgot my staircase. But because this is like a rendering, I did forget the staircase because I was just more focused on like the outside and the way that it matched the design on the outside. And then I just started like plopping objects on the inside and cutting my walls. And then I was like, shoot, oops. So I end up going in a minute and adding the staircase. So you're going to see that going in a moment. Because right now you're probably like, where's the staircase at? How about that one? So yep, that's what happened. Because I was like really obsessed with like getting the outside like really cool and like making it fun and like approachable and just like somebody's, you know, it's gone through several owners, it's had some updates, it's had a little bit of changes, but it's overall still the same concept, still the same design on the outside, but it's had a little bit of landscaping done and has grown, you know, and then kind of over time, you know, maybe people bought it and then they're like, oh yes, let's add a pond. Like that's what happened in my house, but the pond didn't work out because it was like dug 4 feet deep instead of like 1.5 feet or 2 feet deep. So basically twice as deep as it needed to be. The pumps could never work because it was just too deep, and it was just like weird mess. Like, so I really like being able to go in The Sims because I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to keep it stocked. I don't have to take care of the fish or like whatever's in there or worry about mosquitoes. We have that really bad here. So now I'm just kind of coming through and getting the last of the like what we call tchotchkes, or like, you know, the little decor objects and clutter and things like that done. Getting my paint in, of course, that's super important. And then like the tiling, I really love the tiling from Jungle Adventure as well. It's just got so much extra, you know, it's just got extra detail, and the colors are bright and vibrant and very like bathroomy to me. Because you go in there and you're like doing like like not the best of things. Like if you'd rather be doing anything, it's probably not being in the bathroom. So like to give it that bright extra zhuzh is exciting to me, and I really like doing that in real life on houses too. So I think it's just really fun to be able to kind of use that as an opportunity to kind of like brighten it up and add some character to, and like just my design ideas into spaces. And this one I just kind of went old world with kind of the decor objects too a little bit, because I really wanted it to feel like, you know, it's just like they've lived there a while. And then that new Hispanic Heritage Pack, oh my gosh, beautiful. I love that content. And I just immediately thought like, we do not have enough pots for our potted plants. Like, really now? Like, you can put, if you use the Control-Shift-C to activate your control, you know, your cheat panel, and then type in bp.move objects space on, like type in ON, so that's bb.move objects on. If you do that, it's really cool because then you can just plop whatever like plant you want in there in that pot. So yeah, it might just be like pottery or whatever, but it really isn't. It's actually a container for anything you want it to be. So that's the exciting thing. And it just adds so much more color and personality to the game, which I really love. And I hope more content like that comes our way, because either I want things to feel old world and timeless, or I want things to feel very colorful, bright, and contemporary. I don't want the ultra modern stuff because we have a lot of that. We have a lot of Western stuff. We have a lot of rocks, obviously now, and like deserty stuff. You know, now we've had like 3 kind of worlds now with deserty, like quasi Arizona, Yuma, you know, like kind of thing, or like New Mexican vibe, all that. So I would like to go like more like Central America or South America, or like we've had one jungle thing, but that's like nah, not really, didn't bring a lot of useful content into the actual game. It's just more party stuff, I would say, or like things that are just a little different that I don't tend to use as much. But it would just be neat to get more like old world timely things that are more tilted towards like handcrafted stuff, or things that aren't as perfect looking, so that there's just more detail and character in our builds. That'd be so much fun. So now I'm just kind of getting together the last of our bathrooms, bedrooms, getting the second floor finished up. And when I built this, it just made me really excited because there is like enough space in the floor plan and design to really kind of maximize each room. So you could take any of them and make them a kid's room, but it's much harder to take a small space and make it into an adult room. So I feel like it makes more sense to kind of just create adult spaces, and you can morph them down to whatever, size even, but even for like who you want to accommodate in it, because you could do 2 full beds for children, or you could do 1, whatever it is. So now we have like just the rest of the lighting, everything coming in for all the bathrooms, bedrooms, getting the second floor lit. But yeah, it's a lot easier to shrink than it is to expand. So that was just tough for me to kind of like deal with the expansion and all of that in time, like expanding spaces. But I was like, yeah, if you could definitely just shrink it, if you want to just have a baby in there, get rid of the big bed and just put a bassinet in and a changing table, and you're good to go. So here's our final spin, and just for you guys to kind of see how it shaped up. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great day. Stay proud and go out and do something magical. Thanks again so much for tuning in.